Hey guys, Mr. Happy here, and today we are going to be taking a look at the new feature, Treasure Hunts, which were introduced in patch 2.1. This should be a quick guide, and I know I say that all the time, but really there's not much written on this page right here, as there isn't really too much to go over regarding these. I've gotten a few questions about Treasure Hunts, so I'm going to cover them in this video. So there'll be things such as what kinds of maps there are, how to obtain them, what kinds of enemies you'll fight, and the rewards you get for doing them. I'm not going to list every individual reward for every individual map, though, so if you're looking for that information, it won't be here. There will be some examples, but not exactly what drops from each map. So right into it, what exactly is treasure hunting? Well, a treasure hunt is when you take a treasure map, which is a new item that was added in patch 2.1, and look at its contents. Once you've discovered the location of the treasure through a process known as deciphering, you must travel to that location with nothing more than a little mini-map that's going to pop up that's specifically for treasure hunting. It'll have a rough location on it. You go to that location, you dig up the treasure, and you fight the monsters that guard it to actually obtain the treasure. Now, in order to obtain one of these treasure maps, you must gather them from gathering nodes. Simple enough. These do not appear as standard items for gathering for mining or botany. They will occasionally appear at a gathering node in one of the empty slots, designated as a hidden and rare item. Also, you do not need to actually gather at a node in order to reset the possibility of a map appearing there. As you can see, what I'm doing right here is simply running from node to node and checking to see if there's a treasure map. That's sufficient enough in order to just grind out just to get the treasure map. So don't feel like you need to sit there and gather wind shards or something in order to make it spawn. In the case of fishing, of course, which is totally different, you just fish until you get a treasure map in place of whatever you would have obtained otherwise. So there are a total of 5 different maps: leather, goat skin, boar skin, toad skin, and pice skin. Each one can be gathered at different levels of gathering nodes. You must gather at a level 40 node for leather, 45 for goat skin, and 50 for boar skin, toad skin, and pice skin. Now, for miners and botanists, the level of the node will determine the type of map you obtain as stated above. However, for fishing, the type of map you obtain will change depending on actually where you're fishing. This is mostly in the case of level 50, where, you know, there's no real way to control what kind of map that you pull up. So instead, specific fishing points of the appropriate level will actually give you the corresponding map. So for a comprehensive list of which fishing nodes drop which maps, please see the patch 2.1 notes in the description. Head for the treasure hunting section in there and see the list of fishing spots for each map. It does in fact list them. Now keep in mind, regardless of how many gathering classes you have leveled up, you can only gather one of these maps per character every 18 hours. So don't try and spam farm maps. Once you actually gather a map, you can't gather any more of them for 18 hours. They won't even appear. You're also not forced into gathering a map if one spawns. Just don't hit it. Just don't gather it. And just keep going if you're trying to get a different map. Again, specifically talking about the level 50. Of course, in the case of fishing, you went there with it's different. You know, you understand what's different about fishing. You can still buy them off the market wards, though, as well. You can actually buy and sell them on the market wards if you have a treasure hunting itch that you want to do, or you just don't want to actually use them and you're just gathering them for money. Keep in mind, there's no limits to how many hunts you can do per day, only the amount that you can actually gather per 18 hours. So, once you have a map, you need to decipher it. How do you do that? Well, there's actually a quest you must do first called Treasures and Tribulations, which is located over in Wineport. So, completing this quest will give you access to 2 abilities, Decipher and Dig. Decipher is used to take a map and discover the location of the treasure. So you take the map from your inventory, you right-click, press Decipher, and it'll give you this little mini-map. So keep in mind, you can only have one deciphered map at a time. But again, there's no limit to how many you can decipher in a day. You can just only decipher one at a time. You have to complete that treasure hunt before you can decipher another one. Now, the other action, Dig, must be used when you are in vicinity of the treasure designated on your map in order to reveal the treasure chest. If you dig in the wrong spot, nothing bad happens. It just goes on cooldown for like 10 seconds. So once you decipher the treasure map, you'll get this mini-map that designates a small portion of a named area with an X on the mini-map. You must figure out where that X is located yourself by looking at your regular map. Once you know, travel there and use the Dig option to reveal the treasure. If you accidentally close the map, you can go to your key items and right-click the deciphered map and press Use. This will bring that little mini-map back up. Once you reveal the treasure chest, you'll be given 5 minutes to click the chest, spawn the enemies, kill them, and open the chest again. Failure to complete these events in this time will forfeit any loot the treasure chest may have obtained. Also, if you die and you are teleported to another area, you also forfeit the treasure from that treasure chest. Very similar to when you die during leave, you fail it if you go to another zone. Very similar to that. As for the monsters you'll fight, this will largely depend on the type of map you decipher. All the maps but Piskin can be soloed. In fact, they're designed to be soloed, single person. Although each has their own different rewards. The Piskin map, on the other hand, quote-unquote, recommends 8 people. But realistically, you won't need that many. A party size of 4 to 6 should be more than enough to do any Piskin maps comfortably, so long as you bring a tank and a healer. The Piskin maps have a widely varying enemy type and difficulty as well. Anything from a Chimera and some Vodarigas to a few Cactars can spawn, but the goal is all the same: kill everything. Once you defeat the map, whoever deciphered the map must open the chest. The rewards for each map are quite different, especially the Piskin maps. Usually, each one drops some gil, a few crafting materials, which can either be normal quality or high quality, a large chunk of elemental shards. I've seen anywhere from 70 on solo maps to, I think, 250, maybe 300 on Piskin maps, and occasionally a rare item which you must roll on as if they, as if it was like dungeon loot, for example, like 8K when you beat a boss and you get loot, you can roll on it like that. Now you can get things also in that slot that you have to roll on: rare vanity crafting items such as blue fox hides, which are brand new, pets such as the wind-up tonberry or the bluebird minion, housing crafting materials, philosophy point type materials such as coke or animal fat, and even pink grade dungeon gear, which if you're doing some of the low level solo maps can actually help you a little bit. These are all potential rewards as well. Now keep in mind, these are not all from the same kinds of maps. I just took these all as examples of loot you can get from varying types of maps. So don't expect to see all of this loot coming from, say, your boarskin map or your toadskin map or your piskin map. It's spread out across the different types of maps. So with that in mind, mind you that while these rare rewards must be rolled on in a similar manner to loot is in a dungeon, as I made the analogy before, the lesser materials and shards will be randomly distributed to party members. Gil amounts are static regardless of how many people you have in the party. So, for example, if you did a Piskin map with 4 people and it rewarded 1,700 gil per person, it would have still rewarded 1,700 gil per person if you did it with 8 people. So doing maps with large parties can put some spare change in your pocket. In the case of Piskin maps, because I know there's a bit of a variable here, you may also occasionally get 5k gil instead, but this is just random. This has nothing to do with how many people you have in your party. As for the loot that's randomly given out, the shards, the HQ or the normal quality materials, I literally mean they are completely random. It will just place it in somebody's inventory, almost as if you opened a chest from, again, let's say Amdapor Keep, and it was to give somebody elegant silver pieces. It's the same way. It'll just give them to a random person. And really, that's all you need to know about these treasure hunts. I mean, they're a pretty easy thing to get into as long as you have a gathering class, or even if you want to buy them. And it's a few extra 1,000 gil per day, and especially if you do them in groups of 8, 1,700 gil times 8 people, because assuming each person brings a map, of course. Think about that. It's pretty good, if you ask me at least. So, get a group of players together, go treasure hunting, or hunt by yourself and reap all the rewards for the solo maps. Just be careful with those Piskin maps. You don't want to try and solo those. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was helpful. If it was, please like, favorite, subscribe, and share for more Final Fantasy XIV videos and information. Future patches, of course. We'll be doing some other videos now that the 2.1 hype has kind of died down, so look forward to those in the future. More Let's Plays, more other stuff. You can check out the rest of my channel if you want to see what else you can expect. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter. You can ask me questions, get regular updates, pick my brain a little bit. I don't mind any of that. And you can also get updates about when I'm going live on Twitch. That's right, I do live stream on twitch.tv. The link for that is in the description below as well. If you follow me there, you can catch me, ask me questions. I play Final Fantasy XIV, some old Final Fantasy games, Final Fantasy VIII. I gotta finish Final Fantasy VIII on stream. So close to being done with that game. Anyway, and also going to be streaming some other things for the year 2014, so tune in and be sure to get into some of that. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.